Bray Speaks Ball, back with another video, and today I am going to be breaking down a topic that has been probably the most popular topic in women's basketball in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. My opinion on the Caitlin Clark and Kennedy Carter debacle, and not only the push and the foul specifically, but I want to talk about how I think the reaction to it is affecting the women's basketball game in a negative way. Let's get straight into it. So let's paint a picture of how this fiasco happens and how all of this started. So the Indiana Fever were playing the Chicago Sky at home. This was a highly anticipated matchup for several reasons. Number one, it was Caitlin Clark's first game against Angel Reese in the WNBA, highly anticipated since they were rivals in college. And also it was Camila Cordoza's first game after suffering an injury in the preseason. So it was a lot of hype in the building, a lot of hype around the game in general. And I think that's really important to note. So fast forward, it is the third quarter. There's about 18 seconds left on the clock. The Chicago Sky have the ball. Kennedy Carter shoots a three. She bangs it. She hits it. Inbound time. It's going to go to Caitlin Clark, and Kennedy knocks her over. Okay. It's a foul. It's a hard foul. It was unnecessary. I agree with all of that. But here's my problem. So if you've been watching the WNBA for more than a few months, or even more than a year or two, you know the WNBA is a very aggressive league. Me personally, I've coached both boys and girls basketball is a lot more feisty and aggressive than men's basketball. And there's a lot more girls who will just dislike each other. I mean, you can foul a player and then 3 years later when they play each other again, they're still going to have that hatred towards each other because girls are just competitive and fiery. And that's what I love about the women's game. And one thing that I like about Caitlin Clark is a talker. She will bust that three in your face and then she's going to tell you about it. She's going to talk trash. Think about how many people found out about her from the You Can't See Me. From her doing that at Iowa. A lot of people found out about her from that trash talk at Iowa. So she's no angel on the court, and I'm glad she's not, because that's what makes her a star. But her and Kennedy were going back and forth the entire game, back and forth, talking, chirping, all of that. It was a physical game. It was a great game. And besides that, Caitlin Clark is very, very smart. So she knows how to sell a foul. I'm not saying that foul wouldn't have knocked her over either, but she definitely sold it a little bit, as she's done her entire career, as all great basketball players do. But she's very smart. I mean, even in the post-game interview, she threw the ball up in the last 3 seconds, and she said in the post-game interview, "That's a genius basketball play because the other team can't get it. Why don't more players do that?" That shows me she's working the game. She knows what she's doing. And so this foul, it was extra aggressive, but that is basketball, especially in close games when it's very aggressive. It's a little rivalry. I don't think that this foul was just the worst thing that could have happened. And I think what is one of the worst things that could have happened is how big of a deal it is afterwards and how big of a deal the media made this foul. I've been a fan of women's sports for a very long time. I grew up in San Antonio, and me and my family used to go to San Antonio Silver Stars games when Becky Hammon was a player, when Sylvia Fowles was playing. So I've been into the game for a while, and I've always wanted the women's game to get just as much recognition as the men's game, because I feel both of them are just as interesting if you truly love basketball. And I think that all of the WNBA players also just want equality, and they want that same recognition that NBA players get, because they are the best in the world at their sport, and they just want people to give it a chance, and that's all they've been asking for. I think highlighting this foul that didn't even injure Caitlin Clark, and she actually said after the game, hey, it was competitive, it was hard, but it is what it is. I think highlighting this is so detrimental to the women's game, because it's implying that this physicality that we see in the NBA, the men's game every day, is not warranted in the women's game, and there's just no place for it, and it's too much. To me, that's all detrimental to the women's game, because if we want equality, we have to get it in all aspects: the aggressiveness, the physicality, the schemes, the gameplay, the style. Everything has to be equal. And I realize that this is highlighted a lot more than normal because it's Caitlin Clark and how popular she is right now, and just how popular the WNBA is right now. But this is nothing new in the women's game, I promise you. Diana Taurasi, one of the best women's players ever. She's known for this. She's gonna push you around. She's gonna foul you. She's gonna get in your face. She's gonna give you a little kiss on the cheek. This is nothing new. The Phoenix Mercury, one of my favorite teams, Sophie Cunningham and Kalia Copper, they're teammates now, and they used to be the biggest rivals in the WNBA, and they were so aggressive with each other. Liz Cambridge, probably the most aggressive player the WNBA has ever seen. All of this is not new to the game. So if we highlight every single hard foul on Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese or any of these rookies, it's gonna take away from the beautiful basketball that these players are playing night in and night out. The fact that that foul was the biggest highlight of the night, and most people don't even know that that was the Indiana Fever's first home win, which is so important for a team to finally get that home win. That's what we should be highlighting, not a foul that wasn't even that bad in hindsight. And to be completely honest, I don't know why everyone is so off guard about this, because Caitlin Clark is so good. You should have expected this. Look at the men's game. Michael Jordan was getting clotheslined and RKO'd and Batista bombed on the basketball court his first year, so much so that they had to change the rules. I was watching a Patrick Beverley podcast interview, and he talks about how in his first game against Lonzo Ball's first NBA game ever, he gave him a really hard foul because a lot of the players just didn't like LeVar Ball, Lonzo Ball's dad, and so he fouled him hard, and he said he was celebrated after. He said the players celebrated him, the media were talking about it, but not in this negative way like, oh my gosh, Patrick Beverley, how could you, like they're doing Kennedy Carter. It was, well, yeah, welcome to the league, Rook. So I think if we want equality, we have to give women that same attitude. Hey, welcome to the league, Rook. Fight back, keep getting buckets, dust it off. You're going crazy. Go win that Rookie of the Year. Now, I understand that a lot of people are saying that Caitlin Clark is being targeted, and a lot of the veterans are jealous of the attention that she's getting because they wanted it the whole time and they've been playing great basketball. I do understand all of that, but at the same time, I don't think these vets owe her anything, and I don't think they should just go easy on her because of how much attention and money and revenue she's bringing to the league. And I don't think any competitive athlete is going to do that for anyone, no matter what they're doing for them or their pockets. And so I don't think we should expect that either. The great Rico Richie once said, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. So Caitlin Clark, you just have to embrace the hatred. You have to embrace it because it means that you're doing something right. All in all, the only thing I want is the growth of the women's game. And I think if the aggressiveness is highlighted as if it's something that should not be a part of the game, then I think that will ultimately be detrimental to the league, because the aggressiveness is not hurting anyone. It's part of the game and it's expected when you have a great rookie. But hey, I could be tripping. Comment down below what you think. Is my opinion wild? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Let me know. Let's talk about it some more. Brace Speaks Ball. We out of there.